Championship titles, global superstars, crazy passion, a golden legacy, the greatest football club ever. Real Madrid, but we know, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. What is the dark secret behind the club's glorious facade? What kind of hooligans use football's greatest brand for their own agenda? What is their endgame, their philosophy? Who is their leader? Why does nobody talk about this? We'll find out, right now. In the heart of Spain, amidst the sparkling allure of gold trophies and legendary footballing prowess, lies a story not spoken about in the hushed corridors of Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. A story that's darker than the shadows cast on the pitch during an evening match. Enter the Ultras Sur, a hooligan faction not just known for their unwavering support of Europe's most triumphant football club, Real Madrid. They are also notorious for something far more sinister. Being a gang of right-wing football hooligans, their ideologies and actions have often cast a shadow over the glittering reputation of the club. From racist chanting to blatant acts of violence, they've brought a notorious side to the game that few like to discuss. Drawing inspiration from the Italian ultra tradition, the dark underbelly of fanaticism and fervor, the Ultras Sur have often been compared to their Italian counterparts. And while their passion might be mirrored, their tactics are decidedly more radical. It's curious. Football-related extremism in Spain, a country known for its fiestas, flamenco, and football, is generally less prevalent than its European neighbors, especially when you look to the east. Post the collapse of communism, Eastern Europe witnessed a dramatic surge in football hooliganism, making headlines and causing alarm. And yet, the Spanish have largely been the exception, not the rule. So, what makes the Ultras Sur stand out? What fuels their fiery passion that often spills over into aggression? Is it just about football, or is there a deeper, concealed narrative? Every legend, every story, has its beginnings. In the heart of Madrid, where football pulses through the very veins of the city, a story began to unfold in 1980, which would forever change the narrative of Europe's most celebrated football club. Picture this, the 80s, big hair, retro fashion, the birth of iconic music genres, and the rise of a group of fervent young fans at the Santiago Bernabéu. They weren't just any fans, they were known for their unyielding, extreme support for Real Madrid. Within the reverberating walls of the Las Banderas Supporters Club, these fans found a home. But this was no ordinary gathering. It was the birthing place of what would soon become a phenomenon, the Ultras Sur. This enclave of dedicated supporters brought more than just cheer and applause. They brought an intensity, a fervor that could be felt in every corner of the stadium. With every chant, every song, every shout, they voiced their unflinching loyalty to Real Madrid. But as with every passionate tale, there came a twist, a fracture within the very place they called home. The very extremeness that defined them led to a rift. And before they knew it, these young fans, these pillars of extreme support, found themselves expelled from the Las Banderas. But as the saying goes, when one door closes, another opens. And for the Ultras Sur, this wasn't the end. It was a new beginning. Starting anew, away from the umbrella of Las Banderas, these fiery fans embarked on a journey as an independent entity. A force that would echo in the annals of football history. The Ultras Sur was born. In the universe of football, among roaring fans and heart-stopping goals, there are names that stand out, not always for the right reasons. In the heart of Real Madrid's fandom, there's a group that doesn't just cheer, they radiate intensity, and they're led by a man whose name is synonymous with controversy. Enter José Luis Ochaita, the enigmatic leader of Real Madrid's Ultras Sur. Ochaita's name is not just linked to ardent fandom, but to a trail of chaos and violence. Arrested in 1998 in Germany for brandishing Nazi flags. Banned from matches for 3 excruciatingly long years after an attack on a referee on Spanish soil. Yet, in a realm where such actions might exile many, Ochaita found not just acceptance but a peculiar form of reverence. Both the pillars of Real Madrid, its players and its top brass, have welcomed him. A move that didn't just raise eyebrows but sounded alarm bells and drew sharp criticisms from many corners. May 2005, a game that would forever be etched in controversy. With Ultras Sur banners resonating with racism, one unexpected act post-game shock at the world, Roberto Carlos, in a move that many couldn't fathom, handed over his shirt to Ochaita. The stadium gasped and the world watched in bewilderment. While Carlos later expressed regret over the act, he stopped short of condemning the Ultras Sur. His words, "I made a mistake of presenting the shirt at that moment. I wasn't aware of the controversial events that had occurred during the game," left many with more questions than answers. Who really is Jose Luis Ochaita? What magnetic pull does he possess that both draws and repels? A leader, a hooligan, or perhaps a symbol of the fine line between passion and chaos? Well, the fervor of Spanish football often mirrors that of Italy. With its die-hard fans, intense local rivalries, and deep-rooted loyalty, it's the rise of Real Madrid's hooligans that has shaken the core of the Spanish footballing landscape. Their presence? Growing. Their influence? Undeniable. But why the surge? Some argue it's a belated reaction, an awakening suppressed during the dark days of the Franco regime. Look at FC Barcelona fans, representatives of the Catalan heartbeat. They capture the essence of Italian ultras, vibrant flags, deafening chants, embodying the spirit minus the violence and racism. Yet as the 80s transitioned into the 90s, a shift was palpable. Spanish football wasn't just about supporting a club. It became a platform, a stage to express political identities. Real Madrid, Valencia, Espanyol, a trifecta where right-wing ideologies found voice in the terraces. On the flip side, Atletico Bilbao, Deportivo La Coruña, and of course Barcelona, where the left found its rhythm. So, in a land where football is as rhythmic as a flamenco beat and as passionate as a matador's dance, the rise of the ultras poses a question. Is it just about the game, or has the pitch become a battleground for something much larger? Spanish hooligan incidents have seldom teetered over into large-scale violence, but Real Madrid's Ultras Sur hooligans have become notorious for their offensive chanting and activism. November 2004 was a month that should have celebrated international sportsmanship, but instead, an undertone of racism echoed through the Grand Stadium. Such moments demand a swift and strong response, but the Spanish Football Association, their reaction was underwhelming. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Just weeks before, a national figure spoke words that marred the spirit of the sport. An apology? The world waited. And waited. The question that echoes is not just about a single fan group or a few misguided individuals. It's about a system, a culture that seems hesitant to challenge the status quo. Racism is a shadow that threatens to eclipse the brilliance of Spanish football, but shadows can be banished. And for the love of the game, it's high time they are. Throughout the years, tales whispered among fans spoke of the Ultras demanding financial support from players. In return, their unwavering support from the stands. Yet, amid this chaos, some footballers wore their alliance with the Ultras on their sleeves. Juanito, a legend who played for 10 seasons, stood as a beacon of this bond. His tragic death in a car accident is marked with an emotional chant, a tribute in the 7th minute of every match. However, the turn of the millennium brought changes. Under Florentino Perez's presidency from 2000 to 2006, the Ultras found themselves relegated. Pushed to a corner of the Fondo Sur, monitored closely at Gate 28, and left to fend for their travel. The might of the Ultras Sur was seemingly dwindling. Incidents, they started to wane. The Calderon years, they seemed to breathe new life into the group's ties with the club. But like any storied entity, leadership tussles ensued, leading to internal scuffles, fractures, and ultimatums. The board's verdict? An expulsion from their beloved Bernabeu. Yet, astonishingly, just weeks later, the doors opened for them, only to be shut firmly once again before the 2014-15 season. The Bernabeu became a fortress, not just against rival teams, but against the Ultras Sur and any emblem of their existence. The saga of the Ultras Sur and Real Madrid, a symphony of loyalty and conflict, continues to unfold. In the heart of Madrid, the beats of this untamed rhythm still echo. But when you think of Real Madrid, you think of legendary football, roaring crowds, and perhaps some of the most passionate fans in the world. But Real Madrid's dark underbelly, the Ultrasur Hooligans, have a different kind of philosophy. Their beliefs and practices stem from a deep-rooted political orientation, making them one of the most enigmatic fan groups in the world. In the shadows of history, the figure of General Franco, the late fascist leader, looms large for Ultrasur. Recognizing him as their ideological leader, they are proud and unapologetic about their right-wing leanings. Their voices might sometimes echo racist chants, but here's where it gets intriguing. While the prejudice bubbles up against opposition players, that sentiment seems to mysteriously ebb when it comes to their own team. Despite the sizable contingent of black players in Real Madrid, Ultrasur's loyalty to the team stands unwavering. When we talk about football hooliganism, Italy often rings a bell with its notorious ultra groups. But Ultrasur, their acts of violence, though existent, do not mirror the scale seen with their Italian counterparts. From east to west, ultra groups often fly colors signifying more than just support for a team. Left wing, right wing, they wear their political hearts on their sleeves. And while racism and violence are tags they often can't shake off, these are also the fans that light up the stadiums with unparalleled zeal. Ultrasur, much like many of their counterparts, embodies this paradox. On one hand, they represent football's most passionate and colorful fans, but on the other, their darker elements often overshadow this vibrancy. Football isn't just a game. It's a melting pot of cultures, beliefs, and emotions where every chant tells a story and every flag flies with purpose. And as global fans, we will never let any kind of extremism overshadow football and our passion for it. To truly uncover the secret ideology of the Ultrasur, some have dared to venture deep, risking it all. Take Antonio Salas, a journalist who went undercover, assuming a pseudonym, to infiltrate the group. His findings, revealed in his book, Diary of a Skinhead, Salas painted a vivid picture of the group's behavior both inside and outside the stadium. More alarmingly, he detailed their affiliations with the neo-Nazi movement. But Salas wasn't the only one. Officer David Madrid, too, embarked on a journey into the heart of the Ultras. Not once, but twice, documenting his experiences in insider and urban tribes. Sneaking into the very stands that the Ultras occupied, Madrid brought to light tales that few knew, yet beyond the ideology, there were incidents that shook the very foundation of Santiago Bernabeu. Picture this: the Champions League semi-finals, Real Madrid versus Borussia Dortmund. But just before kickoff, something unthinkable happens. 100 ultras in a wave of fervor clamber onto the south end fence of the Bernabeu. But what they didn't expect, the fence collapses, pulling down the very goalpost it was tethered to. The consequence? A 75-minute delay and a heavy sanction for the beloved club. This marked a turning point. The Ultras Sur, once dominant at the south end, found themselves relegated, moved from one section to another, from the third amphitheater to the lower side stand. A group that once boasted almost 2,000 members at the south end saw many of its faithful depart, marking an era of internal turmoil. But their tales, both dark and passionate, live on. Rewind to 1988. The atmosphere in football stadiums is electrifying, and amidst this backdrop, a significant alliance is being formed. An alliance that would stand the test of time. Enter the Brigadas Blanquiazules of RCD Español. From this year, A bond stronger than most on the football terraces emerged between them and the Ultras Sur. But wait, the plot thickens. As we roll into the new millennium, another friendship blossoms. The year 2000. The Ultras Sur form a robust alliance with none other than the Irriducibili of Lazio. For those new to the scene, the Irriducibili aren't just any ultra group. They're one of Europe's heaviest hitters, and let's just say they aren't called one of the most dangerous for no reason. But our tale of alliances doesn't stop there. As we traverse through the heart of Europe, we find ourselves in Lyon. Ah, the bad gons of Olympique de Lyon. While not an official alliance, a unique camaraderie has been formed between them and the Ultras Sur, a testament to how football can bridge cultures and countries. Now, closer to home, within the ranks of the fervent Real Madrid supporters, a friendship brews between the Ultras Sur and another faction, Orgullo Vikingo. But that's not where our journey of friendships ends. We jet off once more across Europe, landing amidst the vibrant atmosphere of Austria. Meet the Ultras of Austria Vienna, an essential piece in the grand puzzle of Europe's ultra movement. And guess what? The Ultras Sur get along with them swimmingly. From Spain to Italy, France to Austria, the Ultras Sur have woven an intricate tapestry of alliances. Each thread tells a story of football, passion, and sometimes sheer fanaticism. While the Ultras Sur might have friends in the terraces of Europe back home, the list of enemies is long, intricate, and intense. First up on this list, none other than the fierce Frente Atletico of Club Atlético de Madrid. It's not just a clash of footballing titans, it's a battle of identities. With countless incidents, skirmishes, and fights to their name, this is one rivalry that sets the Bernabeu alight every single time. But the tale of animosity doesn't stop in Madrid. Over in Catalonia, a different beast brews. Meet the Boixos Noas of FC Barcelona. On the surface, you'd think the Ultras Sur and Boixos might get along, both leaning to the far right. But throw Catalan independence into the mix, and you've got a recipe for pure, unadulterated footballing rivalry. Interestingly though, while their ideological clashes are loud and clear, very few incidents have seen both groups face off directly. Heading south to Andalusia, another conflict bubbles. Here it's not about regional identity, but pure ideology. The Biris Norte of Sevilla FC, a group that leans to the far left, a direct ideological clash with our Ultras Sur. Their confrontations might not frequent the headlines often, but when they do, it's intense, like the notorious skirmish at Barajas Airport. As we journey further along Spain's east coast, Valencia beckons, and with it, another chapter of enmity. The Ultras Yomus of Valencia CF. Their rivalry with the Ultrasur is legendary, built on decades of footballing confrontations. But sometimes rivalries are built not on history or ideology alone, but on sheer proximity. The Bucaneros of Rayo Vallecano, neighbors to the Ultrasur but worlds apart in ideology, leaning firmly to the far left. Their confrontations? Fiery, intense, and sometimes ending with the handcuffs clicking. Like that one time with a whopping 12 arrests. In the world of Ultras Sur, rivalries aren't just about football. It's about identity, ideology, and intense passion. As always, the pitch might be where the game is played, but the stands, that's where stories are written. We can say that there are three menacing sources that birthed football hooliganism in wonderful Spain. Numero uno, racism. It's a poison that tarnishes the beautiful game. Black players from Spain and beyond have felt its sting. Remember Samuel Eto'o, that legendary FC Barcelona player hailing from Cameroon? He wasn't just known for his incredible skills on the pitch. Eto'o raised his voice against the lurking menace. He denounced the problem, revealing the ugly underbelly of some sections of Spanish fans. But Eto'o's cry wasn't an isolated echo in an empty stadium. Cast your minds back to 2004, a year that should have been all about friendly ties and the celebration of football. But the game took a dark turn. Monkey chants, racial slurs, a barrage of abuse. Wright Phillips Cole and others found themselves in the eye of a storm, all because of the color of their skin. These weren't just chants. They were clear, loud echoes of a deep-rooted problem, but let's take a step back. Why? Why has a country renowned for its beauty, warmth, and culture given rise to these shadows? Is it purely about football? Or is it symptomatic of larger societal issues? Does the passion for a club turn so intense that it blinds fans to basic human decency? Spain's tryst with football hooliganism is a multi-layered saga, entwined with a blend of passionate fandom and unfortunate prejudices. But let's not forget, for every shout of hate there's a roar of love, for every jeer a million cheers. Football is, and always will be, a beautiful game. It's up to us, the fans, the players, the world, to ensure that its beauty isn't overshadowed. Source number 2, El Clásico, the epic saga of Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Two giants, two cities, two ideologies. It's a rivalry that transcends mere football. It's a cultural clash, an assertion of identity. And then there was Figo, the prodigal son. Once Barcelona's darling, he became Madrid's golden boy. But the plot thickened. What do you think happens when a hero returns as the villain? Barcelona's iconic Nou Camp became an amphitheater of fury that day. Bottles, mobile phones, the typical mementos you'd expect to rain down on a returning player, right? Oh, but there was more. Yes, you saw right. A pig's head, symbolic, audacious, and let's face it, wickedly entertaining in its audacity. The match became secondary. The drama, the tension, and the theatrical display of anger took center stage. Although the whistle blew, the debates did not. The Spanish Primera Division saw discussions, debates, and outright battles on fan violence triggered by a football transfer. It's a testament to the heat, the intensity, and the fine line between passion and aggression in this monumental rivalry. But as the waves gently crash on the Spanish shores, one can't help but ponder. Is this unbridled passion what makes Spanish football so electrifying? Or is it a spark that could ignite a bigger flame? Only time will tell. And while we wait, the drama, the entertainment, and the raw emotion of Spanish football continue to enrapture fans worldwide. From the majestic Santiago Bernabéu to the thundering Wanda Metropolitano, there's a rhythm, a beat that goes beyond mere football chants. Its third source is its roots in deep political divisions arising from the General Franco-fascist regime days. Some ultras, like those of Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and even Valencia, echo the haunting whispers of the Franco era. But then, the pendulum swings. In the opposite corner stand the ultras of Deportivo La Coruña, Athletic Bilbao, and Rayo Vallecano, their chants echoing communist calls and fierce regional pride. The battle of the regions, Catalonia with its dream of independence, Galicia and the Basque, each with its own tale of struggle and identity. Then come the giants of Spanish hooliganism, the Buaxos Noirs of Barça, the Fieri Frente Atletico, and the indomitable Ultra Sur of Real Madrid. But let's not forget the local heroes and their regional disputes, from the Betis-Sevilla face-offs to the pulsating tension between Osasuna and Real Zaragoza. Every match day brings its own chapter of drama. Every goal, every card, every referee's whistle is not just about the game. It's about history, politics, and identity. It's about past wounds and future dreams. In the world of Spanish football, it's not just about the 90 minutes on the pitch. It's about lifetimes of stories, of rivalries, of battles lost and won. So, next time you tune into a Spanish football game, remember, you're not just watching a match. You're witnessing history, passion, and the very soul of España.